Spirit dreaming, serpent dreaming, the rainbow dreaming, spirit dreaming.
For even the most devoted NRL fan, the name Terry Wiki is probably unfamiliar. As an Indigenous boy growing up in the Shoalhaven region south of Sydney, Terry was a talented sportsman and a fierce competitor.
Terry was mad. He was very fast, also he had good ball skills. He was a good footballer. Played for St George.
Well, the first time I met Terry, I think it was a 13-year-old.
I was playing for the Group 7 Southern Division, and we had to go to this big gala day.
So obviously the Sydney teams noticed him. I think he played against South, Parramatta and Norths all in one day. And then it was known who Terry Wiki was after those games.
In 1992, young Terry suddenly found himself in inner city Sydney, sharehousing with other talented up-and-comers. Training to compete in the under-19s Jersey Flegg Cup was no walk in the park.
All that hard training you've done finally paying off. Got to St George and did a couple of trials, and I was impressed, and yeah, got selected to play for the year. But there was this underlying issues that I had with myself that was normal to me, which meaning drinking after a game and not turning up for training. I didn't realise the environment I was in was so professional. It was so normal down home, you didn't go training. You know, you just rock up and play. Sometimes I didn't turn up training. I'd be going back home and getting homesick, and then I'd come back up.
It was not long before St George terminated his contract.
In the game of rugby league, Arthur Beetson is an icon. He's the mecca. He's the one to love and respect. After St George, I rang Cronulla up and they said, come over, and I was trialling there for a little bit. Big Arthur Beetson was the coach back then.
Although his manager then had Terry signed with the Cronulla Sharks, that too did not last.
I was half pissed all the time, and Arthur knew what was happening, but I just rang him. I said, look, I had enough. I can't do this no more. And I sort of got cut from playing up there with Cronulla.
Beetson was later recruitment manager for the Sydney Roosters. So Terry decided to make contact and ask for another go with Big Artie.
I was still playing good football. I thought I'd ring him up and say, look, I'm ready to go and have a game, but Arthur's come back at me and said to me, no, Terry, look, you let me down over at Cronulla. What happened there is I just come back home and just said stuff everything and just played club football for grog, basically.
Terry's journey to the NRL wasn't the dream he thought it would be. Racism, homesickness, and a lack of support meant Terry barely stood a chance when facing the bright lights of the big city.
The scouts would sign them up, and next thing they were in Sydney. They were in a boarding house or rental house altogether. They weren't prepared for the city life. It was, it was too fast, it was too professional. The ability on the football field was always there. That wasn't the problem. It was off the field.
I wasn't prepared. I didn't have the tools to deal with anger, frustration, anxiety, all the rest of it. The only way that we ever dealt with it was normal. Okay, drink. Okay, take drugs. Okay, carry on.
You wanted to be part of something. Also, you always got told that your people were alcoholics and drink, So after hearing that a lot of times, you start believing it yourself. So you start becoming that.
Drunk, crying because I was screaming out for help when I was down and out. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was. 15 rehabs, 8 detoxes, and 3 or 4 ICUs. I fell from glory. My home, rock bottom, was my home.
The long and painful years away from his beloved footy gave Terry a chance to reflect.
Our outlet was to get on the field and, smash these white fellas, and just hurt them. I didn't realise where the anger was coming from. Why did I hate white people? Because my mum did, my dad did, and their mum and their dads, and it was sort of like a generation sort of thing. Why do we hate white people? And it stems from a whole lot of things that for me to understand, I had to go right back and really feel what was really going on with my anger.
Self-destructive behaviour can have justified origins, but it can also repress memories it doesn't want to accept.
I started representing football, so back in the day you got billeted out. I didn't want to get billeted out, and if I was billeted out I wanted to be with one of the brothers, but this time I had to be billeted out by myself to away family, and I just didn't want to do it, but I had to do it because I had to stay somewhere, and they looked after me, and they loved me, and they actually wanted me to keep on staying there. But I got to learn to not only respect, but trust.
Terry and his first cousin Andrew have always been close. They both had fallen into a pattern of alcohol abuse and reckless behaviour.
I got enough of this vicious cycle. I want to change, and he didn't know where I was coming from at the time. But the last words I said to Terry was, you know, I'll leave the door open for you. So if you ever decide to walk through it, I'll be waiting for you.
What I found with myself is that I didn't have culture. I didn't know my identity. I didn't know who I was. My uncle always says it about rebirth. It's about, you know, you come back to you, who you are, that warrior. That's who you are.
Terry's tumultuous NRL journey is all too familiar for so many other talented Indigenous kids. So he set about to make a change.
If Arthur would have said to me to go down and do a program, I would have jumped at the chance, and at any cost, I would have went down there straight away, and I would have said, look, here I am, I'm ready.
Terry created the Rainbow Serpent Dreaming program to be the support network he never had.
Named it Rainbow Serpent Dreaming because it's acknowledged in every tribe in some sort of way, or there is a connection and sense of belonging. I see a lot of division with our mob, and all I want is for our mob to come back together.
Terry wants every young player in his program to connect with their culture and find and honour their own spirit.
When they finish the program, they're strong enough to enter that world with that cultural knowledge and cultural awareness.
And that's all our Indigenous kids. They need that cultural support, and they wouldn't have been able to do that without Terry. Seeing what Terry's been doing in supporting a lot of the country kids from all over to come into the city is magnificent. He supported my boys. They achieved their goals.
There's going to be a kid out there that's going to look at you guys now and down the track and go, I want to be like that. So you're setting an example to everyone in the community.
Just the fact that he's helping us young Indigenous kids, you know, trying to get to where we want to be and, like I said, achieve our dream.
Terry appreciates the power of Indigenous identity and the devastating impact of being separated from home, from family and from culture. Terry is hopeful that with the right support, his program will make an impact for generations to come.
You are the Rainbow Serpent. It's up to you to start creating your own pathways and not be a follower, but, you know, be a leader.